Mr. Owaisi, before you joined in, you were having a heated debate on whether hijab is at all an essential practice of Islam or not. I want to ask you this. Is it the right lens from which we should be looking at the entire issue? Because one of the judges today, Justice Dhulia, has said that this question is not even key to the case in front of us. It is about choice and choice alone. But here's the question. Institutions, just like individuals, have rights and choices as well.
Yes, I totally agree with the view of Justice Dhulia Sahab that the important point which he had mentioned in his judgment is that, let me quote, he said that it is ultimately a matter of choice, and Article 14 and 19, nothing more and nothing less. Now, if that is the case, and then he also mentioned in his judgment whether wearing hijab is an ARP in Islam or not is not essential for determination of this dispute. If the belief is sincere and it harms no one, there can be no justifiable reason for banning hijab in a classroom. So this was also said by Justice Dhulia Sahab in the judgment today. So that is the most important issues of choice. No one can take the choice. It's a fundamental right, and right to culture is an unfettered fundamental right. How can you take away the right to culture? Privacy is now a fundamental right. Right to conscience is a fundamental right. Now, if a Muslim girl is exercising all her rights on the basis of choice, culture, conscience, who is anyone to stop her? That is very important, which one must remember when one is arguing about, why should Muslim women wear hijab? All these things. So they don't know the constitution. That is what is a problem with them.
Mr. Owaisi, I asked you this question before, and I'm going to ask you this question again. Just like an individual has rights, institutions have rights as well. The PU Udupi College had a right to decide what the uniform is and had the right to expect its students to come wearing that uniform. They said no religious symbols. Why should an institution's right be any lesser than an individual's right?
Well, you see, the institution is not over the Constitution of India. And Justice Dhulia has rightly pointed out, I'll quote him because I am a, I'll quote you. I am a lesser mortal. He said a girl has the right to wear a hijab in her house or outside her house, and that right does not stop at her school gate. This is what Justice Dhulia had to say. Now, when you talk about religious symbols, what the Karnataka government has said, that we are allowing the Muslim girls to wear hijab in the school, but not in the classroom. Now, I'll give you a depiction to understand. You have a Sikh boy wearing a turban is allowed inside a classroom. You have a Christian girl who can wear a cross in a chain on her neck, she's allowed. You have a Hindu girl who's wearing a vibhuti, she's allowed in the class. But once a Muslim girl is wearing a hijab and she's not allowed to enter a classroom, why? Because she's wearing a hijab. Now you please tell me, is that equality? It is not equality. And then moreover, what is the message you're giving to all these three students? Please allow me to complete. You are giving a message to these three students that a Muslim girl is lesser than you. And how do we celebrate India's pluralism and diversity? By this way. These children are tomorrow going to lead India, make it a superpower that will stand up to China and look into it in the Chinese eyes. Now, if you are not celebrating the pluralism and diversity, what is the message you are giving to these three students, and what is the impact which is going to have on this Muslim girl who's allowed inside a school with a hijab, but cannot wear a hijab inside a classroom? The others are allowed to wear their religious symbol.
So as far as the pug is concerned, there is a Punjab and Haryana High Court order that essentially establishes that the pug of the Sikhs is essential to their practice. But here's the thing. You say, what is the message that the order was giving to these three Muslim girls, that they are not equal citizens in India. That's the argument you're making. Now, if the girls were allowed with their hijab, what was the message it would have given the other students in the class? That Muslim students, Muslim girls, have rights that the other students don't enjoy.
Yeah,
that rules don't apply to Muslim girls, but they will apply to everyone else.
Well, you see, the point that I was making to you, I have given example of 4 students. One is a Muslim, one is a Sikh, third is a Christian, fourth is a Hindu. The other 3 are allowed with the religious symbols inside a classroom. A Muslim girl is not allowed to wear a hijab inside a classroom. Now, what kind of impact it will have on these 3 students, that the Muslims are lower than them. She's not equal to the Sikh, to a Hindu, and to a Christian child.